In assignment 1 of Studio Beta, we learn a method of defining a general site and volumetric planning of a project by developing an overall organizational scheme. I'll start with my idea of a pleasure garden, that is, a space specifically designed as an oasis away from the mundanity of everyday life by reintroducing a reconnection with nature. We began with intuitively creating simple geometries by hand-making collages, and I focused on symmetry, organic form, growth, and smooth flow for these first sketches. Expansion is an abstract representation of a lock and key, a visual representation of unwinding in symmetry. Apart from being one of the most fundamental organizational strategies, symmetry reflects what is inherently ideal or beautiful in nature. Chimera is a composition made up of two distinct modular elements growing as one. This was an experimentation of using two contrasting geometries of the continual curve of the circle and the jaggedness of the framing components. Filigree was inspired by the idea of the mimicry of nature and growth, featuring organic curves to evoke a sense of smooth flow. The name Genesis refers to how the collage resembles a sort of cell division, the creation of life, which links back to my idea of restoration within a space. This was an exploration of pattern making through expressing the overlap of circular geometries as negative space. The result can either be seen as a megaform of a multitude of connected elements or a group form of overlaying elements. In the next part of the assignment, I focused on the concepts of exploration, play, and even more so, interaction with nature. For the rule-based collages, I experimented mostly on modularity to create a field. In expansion, I began breaking the geometries further apart and inverting reflections, which resulted in a clear introduction of suggested circulation and thresholds. The result was also very similar in Chimera, a repetition of the same types of geometries with varying directions, sizes, and grouping created an interestingly uniform field. And here is my last rule-based collage. Symphonia is a combination of the organic curves of filigree and the rule bases of Genesis. The design was produced by drawing one continuous line with intersecting curves to create one single composition, and then highlighting the positive and negative spaces by only hatching in opposite intersecting geometries, which created a composition of harmonious discordance that is consistent throughout the site, all connected in one continuous line. I am aiming to build a lush park that sparks curiosity and encourages exploration, a public space with many opportunities for private pockets and a green library as its central program. Here I've tested filigree solar envelopes and solar fan with one central garden. And this is a solar envelope test on all the negative spaces of Symphonia and also with a central garden solar fan test. After these tests, I began creating my own 3D design of the space, understanding which buildings and ground would receive the most early sunlight. The final design came to be Symphonia. I began by choosing which geometries would be built forms or landscaping, as well as the general circulation of the site. Each separation created within Symphonia has an immediate relation to its adjacent, making all of the potential elements within the design possesses inherent flow and allowing a more permeable separation between the buildings and landscapes, the interior and open space, or between the private and public, as they are all produced through one continuous line. And here is my first 3D design after sectioning. And to analyze the solar reception of the main structures, I did a group mass solar envelope test and found that only this structure needed to be altered. And here is a solar fan test of all the gardens in the site. So this is the final 3D model post solar tests, and I did make a few alterations as to garden locations to keep certain structures intact, and updated this building because I am planning on making this structure into a greenhouse, which will need sunlight. Because I am aiming to achieve a sense of tranquility through opportunities for exploration in my design, the continuous curves of Symphonia provides a sense of order, yet the forms created through its intersections provides interesting pathways and framed views, and that is why Symphonia is my final figure ground drawing choice. Thank you.